Howdy everyone, Fusion here. Today I'm going to show you how to add anhydrous, propane, and dry corn fill types to any map, as well as how to modify an existing liquid fertilizer refill point or silo to accept those when they normally would not. I've got the Forward Ag anhydrous caddy, the River Bottom Custom Farming's corn dryer, as well as, in this case, the DD Mod Passion liquid fertilizer refill tank. So let's get right into it. All right, so I will preface this with Hedrick Farms did a really good tutorial on adding anhydrous for FS19. It's really good, really well explained. Definitely go and check it out if you need another way of seeing the changes or how to have it explained to you. It mostly applies to 22 with a couple of minor tweaks. And then I thought I would expand on that and show how to get dry corn as well as propane. So I have my mod map on my desktop. We're going to right click and extract to. I'm using WinRAR, so whatever unzip program you would like to use. So here it is. And the first thing we're going to go to is the maps. And then your map may say the name of the map like this. It may say map US, map DE. That's the file that the folder that you're looking for. And then we are looking for, again, map.xml, the name of the map.xml. It's this XML file here. And what we're first going to look for is, does it have a reference to fill types and spray types? It may not. So in my case, in this map's case, it does not have a reference. It's there, but it's commented out. So the first thing we're going to do is create those files. So the way I have typically seen the fill types and spray types XMLs laid out is they are within the maps folder and then just sitting right here. Again, if your map XML file does have fill types and spray types referenced, you would just need to find where those files are and go and open those for editing. It is likely that you do not have those, so we simply need to create new XMLs. So there's two ways to do it. You can go and grab a maps, fill types, spray types XML from an existing map and copy and paste into here. Or you can click new, text document, and then just type out maps_spray types.xml and remove the txt and say yes. Open this up. And then this is the line that we would need to add. If we do not have any reference, any spray type information at all, we would need to, and are needing to create a new XML, you will copy all of this that you see on the screen. If your map does have a spray types XML with other spray types already called out, and anhydrous is not one of them, then you would just copy this spray types segment and just paste it in, keeping it within the map parent. This is the name of the fill type. Liters per second is the application rate. And then, of course, it is a fertilizer. So we're creating from scratch. So we're just going to copy that, paste it in, and hit save. Now, we're going to go to our map XML file. We're going to find our spray types section. It's commented out. Remove those two lines and that. And then the reference here is actually to base game data. And that, of course, is not where our spray types XML is located. It is located in maps. So we put maps, and then we double check maps_spray types with a capital T, maps_spray types with a capital T, So our references are the same because, again, it is case sensitive. If you put a lowercase t here and an uppercase t here, it will not work. Okay, so now we need to do our fill types. So again, copy and paste from an existing map or create new. Fill types.xml and remove the txt and hit yes and open this up. Now, what needs to be added here? So again, if your map already has fill types called out, you will simply need to take this data in this fill types section. Sorry, you will need to take the fill type of anhydrous propane and maize2, so just this section here, and copy and paste it within the fill types parent of your existing map. Keep it within, don't copy and paste this over, just copy these sections right here if your map already has existing fill types. In our case, we do not have any fill types, so we're going to end up copying this whole section. And we have anhydrous is the name. Anhydrous ammonia is just the name as it is displayed in game. And then there is one call out on a difference. If you watched Kedrick Farms, he had, or 19, the FS19 version had price per liter called out as an attribute on this. It is now an element called economy. If you leave in the price per unit, price per liter up here, in this section up here, it's not going to work and you're just going to get $0 for your price. You want to have this economy price per liter. And if you want to change the pricing on it, change this up or down to your heart's content. And then we have our reference to our fill type icons. In this case, it's going to be in a HUDs folder for the large and small versions. We have the same thing for propane. You have your price per liter and your references to the icons. And we have maize2, which is the dry corn. So River Bottom Custom Farming itch.io page does have some text language around how to add this stuff to your map to make it work with their silos. And they do call out that some maps are referencing dry corn as maize2, like in their case, dry corn. And there's another one I can't remember off the top of my head. So basically what you want to do is you want to make sure that the fill type name here is consistent across every reference within the mod map and the fill types and all of that. You have your price per liter, and then you have factors based on the months, so January to December. You have your fill type image icon, and then these are just all the fill type texture icons. So make sure that you copy, if you're starting from scratch, so to speak, you'll want to make sure you have all of this in there. Then you'll also need fill type category. And this basically defines what kind of implement or tractor or trailer, tanker, whatever, can actually interact with the various fill types. So we want maize2 to be treated as a bulk item, to be loaded in auger wagons, train wagons, picked up with shovels, farm silos, etc. If your fill type, if your map has a fill types XML already with a bunch of other items in here like wheat, barley, etc., and maize2 is not on there, it looks like something like that, you just need to add maize2 in there. Similarly with your liquid or anhydrous and propane. And then you particularly want to make sure that you have anhydrous as a sprayer item so that it can be used in sprayers. And then lastly, We have our fill type sounds. So when you're actually filling a implement, what sound does it make? So I just took propane and added it to match the methane sound, maize 2 in with maize and pig food. And then I just copied and pasted the default refuel sound, which is like for diesel, and put it as anhydrous. Again, you may have something that looks like diesel with no anhydrous in there. You can just add, you could also just add anhydrous. I'm going to go ahead and remove that for now. So since we do not have a fill types XML, we're going to copy this whole entire thing, and I will put a link in the description to a Pastebin or GitHub link where you can copy paste for yourself and not have to type all this in again. And then we hit save. Okay, so now back to the actual icons themselves. And because the HUDs icons are being referenced in a HUDs and then the image itself and not down a level inside of maps. So if we come here and we look, we've got maps and then the fill types, maps and then the fill and spray types. Our HUDs are being referenced as HUDs and then the icon. So we actually need to come up a level and here create a folder called HUDs. And then I have an example. What I did is I took the Deer Creek HUD icons and just put them in a folder. And we'll come to our HUDs and we'll paste. And then we will quickly do a quick spot check to make sure our file names are correct. So HUDs, HUD, fill, anhydrous, HUDs, HUD, fill, anhydrous. And it says DDS, and then but the game translates the DDS to a PNG, I believe is how I understand it. So don't get tripped up over the fact that that says PNG and that says DDS. And then we've got our small icon as well, SML. So we're good to go. Okay, lastly, I mentioned the DD Mod Passion refill tanks that I wanted to use. They're not going to accept anhydrous or propane by default. So I have, oops, I'm sorry. Let's extract this. Okay, so I've extracted the mod, and I believe that it is in XML file name folder, and then liquid fertilizer refill tank. So we open this up, and this should be the same process for any liquid silo, liquid tank, placeable item. And we're going to scroll down and we're going to start looking for references to liquid fertilizer. So here, fill types. So liquid fertilizer is obviously the base game one, but we have also added propane that we want to be able to buy, as well as anhydrous. And then we want to be able to load it. We want to be able to unload it. So propane, actually I could just copy paste. And of course we want it to be able to store it as well. So you want propane and anhydrous in these three sections: load trigger, unload trigger, and storage. And then we simply hit OK and save it. And now we want to delete the old version. And then you do not want to zip this folder up or the mod will not show up. You need to open up, select all of the files, right click. And if you're using WinRAR, you would say add to archive, zip, hit OK. And then this is the one you want. So I'll move this back over to my desktop so I can move it to the mod folder later. And then we come back to our map and we want to zip all this up. And now I'm going to place this back in my mod folder. I'm going to make sure that I replace. And I'm going to take the tanks and replace. And now let's get into the game. Okay, here we are back in the game. After getting everything added, we come over to these tanks that I edited. And now we have propane, anhydrous, and liquid fertilizer. So we'll buy some anhydrous here. And we'll buy some propane here. And then if we also go over to the production point, we now see propane and dry corn are showing up. So material is missing still because I haven't loaded any propane, or sorry, for my test earlier, I did load some propane. I have not loaded any corn now. So we come back over and get in here. Fire it up. And we want to load it up with anhydrous. And there we go. So I'll stop that. Get this out of the way. And then we will get in this tanker. So this is actually the universal tanker package, I believe is the exact name, or something to that effect, on the mod hub. And it is built to accept basically all liquid types, which in that fill types we marked for propane. So I can load with anhydrous, liquid fertilizer, or propane. So we'll let this propane fill up just a moment. Okay. And now we can bring it on over to the dryer. And it should pop up to unload. And there we go. We'll get some corn. Loaded up here. Get it dumped. And then we will change the time here. Speed things along. And there we go. Corn is converted to dry corn. And then we can fill up with our dry corn. So there you go. It is all working. So one additional thing to mention is that what I've showed you here just gets, like I said, your anhydrous, your propane, and your dry corn added. What it does not do is actually make the dry corn able to be sold. If you use the river bottom custom farming, they do have a dry corn sell point. That will obviously work. If you have other sell points that you want to add, you will need to go into your map, find the sell points, Xmls, and add anhydrous if you want to sell anhydrous, propane if you want to sell propane, and in this case, the Maize 2 fill type if you want to be able to sell dry corn. So there you are. Like I said, go check out Kedrick Farms. He did a version of this for FS19 that mostly applies. Again, his was just for anhydrous. So do check his out as well. And let me know if you guys have any questions, any feedback. And I hope you enjoy it. Thank you so much for watching. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. Adios for now.